Yo, what is going on, guys? Today we're gonna learn how to add keyboard input on your window. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, I'm gonna create a new class here. I'm gonna call it keyboard input. And then I'm gonna let my class extend the JPanel. I'm gonna create my constructor here. And then the first thing I'm gonna do is call the set focusable method. This will ensure that immediately our window will get keyboard focus. Okay. And then I'm gonna set the size of our panel here. Okay, make it 400 by 400. I'm gonna set the color to blue. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my game window class, and then this time I'm gonna go to my init UI, add the keyboard input. Okay, now let me run this program to check if everything is okay. Okay, everything is okay. We have our panel added here. Now let us go on to the code. Now I'm gonna let this class implement key listener. This basically means that this class will be called every time when the user presses the keyboard, and so there are different methods that I need to implement here in order to respond to the user pressing the keyboard. Okay, so now I'm just gonna hold Alt and press Enter to implement all those methods. I'm gonna remove these template here. Okay, the two methods we're gonna focus on here is the key released and the key pressed. Now let me just print out the key was pressed, right? When the user presses the key, and then the key was released when the user releases the button. Okay, and then now what I need to do is add our key listener. Okay, it's gonna be this class. Let me run this. Okay, now we can see that every time when I press and release a button, this message is being printed out here. So it means now, not a button, sorry, a keypad. So now this basically means our keypad is working, right? So right now what we need to do is to draw a ball here, and then we want to be able to control that ball and adjust this its size using our keyboard. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement code for that. I'm gonna remove this here. Okay, now I'm gonna overwrite the paint component method. Okay, and then I'm gonna once again create the variable for the ball y is equal to 20, and then the ball size will make it 25. Okay, and then we're gonna set the color of the ball to green, and then we can start to draw our ball here. Okay, so it's ball X, ball Y, and then we're gonna have the ball size as the width and the ball size as the height. Okay, let me run this program, check everything if it's okay. Okay, we have our ball drawn here. Now we need to implement code for when the user presses the the directional keypad. So I want this ball to move to the left, to the right, or to the bottom, depending on the directional keypad I'm pressing. So let's get to the code for that. Okay, now I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna create a variable, and then I'm gonna get the key code from the key event. This is gonna tell me what kind of button the user pressed, right? Okay, so I'm gonna say switch code. Okay, if the user pressed the left button, I'm gonna call the move. I'm gonna call the move left method here. I haven't created it yet. And then now, when the user presses the right directional key, I'm gonna call the move right method. Okay, now let me go ahead and implement these methods here. I have move left, and then I have move right. Okay, when it comes to the move left, I'm simply gonna decrease the ball X by the size of the ball, and then on move right, I'm simply gonna add ball X by the size of the ball. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go with the bottom of the key pressed method, and I'm gonna put repaint so that our graphics are able to update. Otherwise, if you don't put repaint, the variables will be updated but the graphics will not be updated. So we need to call this repaint method in order to update that window. Okay, so now let me run my program and see if everything is okay. Okay, you can see I'm able to move the ball left and right, but now I'm not able to move it down and up. So let's put code for that. I'm gonna create two methods here. Call it move down, and then this one will be move up. Okay, on the move down, I'm gonna add the ball of the size to the Y location of the ball. I mean, not the size of the ball, not the ball of the size. And then when it moves up, I'm simply just gonna subtract the Y location from the ball, from the size of the ball. Okay, and then I'm gonna go here on my code for the key pressed, and then I'm gonna put in VK up. Then I'm gonna call the move up method. And then VK down. I'm gonna call the move down method. Okay, let me run my code again. Okay, now we can move the ball left and right. We can now move the ball up and down. Okay, let me check what's going on here. When I move the ball down, it moves in a very big increment. Let me check the mistake I did here. Oh, I was supposed to say ball size here instead of ball Y. Let me run this code again. Okay, you can see we are able to move the ball. Now I'm gonna add another code that's gonna enable us to be able to expand and contract this ball, right? So now let me define a method here. I'm just gonna call it grow. And then I'm gonna indicate how many pixels do I want to it to grow by. Let me call it size here. Okay, now let me see the original size of the ball. Okay, the original size of the ball is 25. So I'm gonna create a variable here, call it O size, which is short for original size, call it 25. Now when we contract the ball, we don't want it to be smaller than the size 25, so we need to make sure it doesn't grow less than 25. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the size of the ball to the size, and then now if the ball size is smaller than the original size, then we're gonna make the ball size 25. Okay, now let me go to my code for the key pressed event. Okay, now when the user presses space, I want to grow the ball, right? So I'm gonna call the grow method here. I want to grow it by 10 pixels. Okay, and then now when the user presses the, I don't know which button to use to shrink. Okay, let's say the Q. When the user presses the Q, I want to shrink it, right? So instead of a positive number, I'm gonna put in -10. So I want to shrink it by 10 pixels. Okay, now let's run this program and see if everything we did is okay. I'm gonna put this ball in the middle. Okay, we can see when we press space, the ball keeps decreasing, and then when I press Q, the ball keeps on decreasing, and then now it can't decrease any further because I've limited the size through which you can, you know, shrink this ball. So we can't shrink it less than 25 pixels. Okay, that's about it when it comes to the keyboard input. Now if you've learned a lot from this, please subscribe to my channel to learn more about Java game programming. I'll see you on the next tutorial. Goodbye.